Hi, thanks for visiting my channel, Aussie Stampers. Today I'm going to be showing you this card using the Secret Garden stamp set and Framelits. It's so easy to cut this card using the Framelits. You don't have to do any fussy cutting at all. It's done for you. Here's a close-up of the card. Here are the Framelits and the stamp set that you'll be using. This comes in the Secret Garden bundle. I'm going to use some Primrose Petals ink, some white craft ink, and I'm going to stamp out the 3 larger flowers in the white craft ink. Or you could also use Versamark because we're going to emboss these flowers to make it really easy to colour them. If you're using Versamark, you're going to need some white embossing powder, and I'm using white embossing powder on the white craft ink as well. One of the tips I like to use when I'm embossing is to heat up the back of the cardstock first, because it means that you're not likely to burn the embossing powder on the other side, because the cardstock is already warm and can already take that heat from the front as well. Now I've cut out those 3 flowers with the Framelits using my big shot. And now I'm taking a Primrose Petal marker using the brush tip, and I'm going to colour in where I define the shadows of this first flower, which is the smallest size. I'm mainly using shadowing around the centre of the flower and where those folds in the flower are. And I'm determining that the light is coming from the left-hand side, so I'm adding some shading to the right-hand side and under the flower. With the second flower, this is slightly different because this time I'm going to shade each petal so that it lays on top of the petal beneath it. So underneath each of those layers, you're going to cast a shadow. And this helps give the image that the petals are 3-dimensional. It's quite an easy technique. You can't really get this wrong. As long as you're going around those edges there, your flower's going to look wonderful. And just colouring in a little bit more in the centre. Now with the same marker, I'm going to colour in the larger flower. And you can see how I'm adding some shadows where I think there are some folds in this flower. It's really easy to colour because the embossing helps you stay in those lines. Just adding some final touches there. Now I'm using old olive cardstock and cutting out 2 of the leaf patterns with the Framelits, and now I'm bringing in the bird builder punch with the old olive cardstock, and I'm going to cut out 3 leaves from the bird builder and 2 leaves from the Framelits. I'm going to layer my card onto a piece of Primrose Petals cardstock cut in half lengthways, and some Island Indigo, which I have cut slightly smaller than the front of the card. Now I'm bringing in an old olive marker to provide some shading for the leaves. It's just very simple shading down the centre, underneath the leaves, and then a tiny point right where the leaves meet the stem. Nothing too fancy, just to give the impression of some shading. The same with the little punched piece from the bird builder punch. And you'll notice I've turned this one round to the left-hand side, so I have some of the little punched pieces facing left and 1 piece facing right. Now I'm going to adhere the leaf with Tombow multi-adhesive and start at the top of the card and work my way down. And I'm adhering the large flower to the background because I want to give the effect of this card being layers of flowers. You can see I've adhered the 2 large leaves down the bottom. When you're adhering these, make sure that the stems connect so it looks as though they are part of a bunch of leaves rather than 2 single leaves. Now I'm using Dimensionals to put the 2 lower flowers on, and I'm covering up those leaves as much as I can so that it looks as though all of those leaves join together. Now I'm bringing in some Dazzling Detaiis and a paintbrush, And I'm going to add Dazzling Details to the dark parts of the card, or where I've used the marker. I'm just going over that with some clear Dazzling Details, which is one of my go-to embellishments. I love using it. It just gives a great sparkle to your card. So you can see how sparkly that is. And you can put whatever greeting you want to put inside your card. I've saved the front of the card just as a floral image because I think these flowers from the Secret Garden set are so, so pretty. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you give this card a try. You can purchase all of these products directly from my online store, aussiestampers.stampinup.net.